Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Silent Hill commentary, where it's time to run away, run away, run away, run away. And, yeah, now that we have this sewer exit key, we can pretty much make tracks and exit this distended, filthy place. Ugh. Oh, I guess we'll stay back and fight these let go of me creatures. I gotta say though, like, in terms of creature design overall, the hang scratch is a very sort of alien-esque in design, which, I mean, I don't know, it's just kind of odd comparing it to later Silent Hill games that have, like, more of an abstract kind of bent to them, but I don't know, it just gives the hang scratches a very unique sort of appeal. Yeah, but then again, in terms of overall creature design, yeah, Silent Hill 1 tends to have more of a, more of an animalistic, you know, sort of tie towards it. That is partially because the one responsible behind it seems to have either a fascination or fear with certain animals, but otherwise though, it's quite curious. But yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote, and now we can pretty much head back to the sewer exit. Helpfully hinted at with the ladder. You know, just in case you didn't know where you were going. Mysterious. But all that aside, though, the area that we're going to be heading to last up is pretty much the final, explorable, for lack of a better term, hub world in the game. I mean, there are some rather important things to be doing, and not just for the sake of exploring around, gathering items, and, you know, doing a few other things here and there. It's, well, yeah, has some plot relevance, but that's just sort of preamble rambling for later. By which I mean as soon as we actually get out into the part of the town itself. Shouldn't be too long, but, yeah, we still have a few hang scratches to deal with in the meantime. And crawlers. Alright, let's get out of here, have a save of the game, talk about our day, and just avoid all the freakish fighting that we have been avoiding. There we go. Oh, yeah, sorry if I don't really have a lot to say about the the last part of the sewer area, but primarily it's just a place of getting from point A to B, really, and yeah, so it's not very interesting, so up we go and we can finally enter the new part of town. Oh, and apparently we've spent so long down inside the sewers that apparently it's become nighttime by the time we emerge into the world once again. The last vestiges of our normal Silent Hill. Cherish it, my children. Cherish it. Anyway, this is the resort area, and oh look, South Park. Damn, friendly neighbors everywhere, humble folks without temptation. I'm not gonna sing the fucking theme song, it is what it is, but yeah, more than any other area of Silent Hill, really, this one does reward your exploration, because it is rather determinate in whether or not you get the good or the bad ending. Now, there are a few additional elements which you can use to get the good plus or bad plus ending, which, you know, is just a few other additional things that you might need to pay attention to, particularly all the way back in the hospital segment with that red liquid. Filler commentary giggle that I usually use. But yes, in the meantime, though, yeah, you might want to explore around and, just see if you can enter a few buildings. Because, I mean, you know, this was a game made back in 1999 before, you know, inflated budgets for certain games. It sort of made having explorable areas be a bit of a boon, and, you know, you don't have a lot of explorable places, but Silent Hill 1 does let you explore a few little areas here and there, so, you know, Harry must be feeling a little bit parched, you know, running around the sewers, being scared to death, and, you know, being attacked by rompers, having a jolly old romp, eating his skin. Let's go inside Annie's bar and, have ourselves a little drink, in a place where everybody knows your name.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I guess so. But I'm beat. I thought I was a goner there. So how'd it go? Did you find a way out?
No, not yet. How about you?
Zip. But it's too soon to give up. This craziness can't go on forever. A military rescue squad should be here any time now. If they come through the town, we're home free.
I hope so.
I better get going. This isn't the time to stand around flapping our gums.
Do you know a girl called Alessa?
No.
Well then, very shrift, sharp, and to the point. However, it is around about this point where, well, first of all, we also get to have another look at the Mumbler enemy, which is really featured in the PAL version of this game, and in this case, yeah, this begins as something called the Kaufmann side quest. I mean, I call it a side quest, but it's really more of a ending requirement thing. Now, what the Kaufmann side quest basically is, well, pretty much going to have me entail going into his backstory, really, in terms of what Kaufmann's role actually is in the game, and, yeah, we know that he's the director of the Alchemilla Hospital, but we also know that he was also, well, keeping Alessa in the basement, if that picture in the hospital basement was to be believed, and the fact that he pretty much was the head of the hospital, keeping staff members like Lisa out at the time being. And to sort of jump the gun ahead of time, since we pretty much have a receipt for the Indian Runner convenience store, yeah, if you want to know who was behind the whole PTV drug trade in Silent Hill, that was Dr. Kaufmann. And it seems that he also happens to have ties with the occultic influence that Lisa was talking about beforehand. Primarily because, well, yeah, if you recall what I mentioned about psychic TV, that was primarily responsible for, you know, giving people hallucinations and allowing the cult to contact the spirit world. And we also noticed in the Green Lion Antique Shop, owned by Dahlia Gillespie, that, yeah, she also had some of that white powder in the chalice as she was worshipping Samael. So yeah, it seems the cult and the drug trade are kind of interconnected. And as Sybil mentioned, they also give them to the tourists, so it seems like it might have been a potential either recruitment tool, or perhaps something to further influence the spiritual power by means of narcotic trade. Rather crafty of that bastard, but in the meantime, however, there is a bit more to this puzzle than we in fact know, and in this case, well, it does also bring to mind exactly how much Kaufmann really knew about what was going on in Silent Hill. But first we have to solve a puzzle, which again, if you remember what was written on the receipt, can pretty much, you know, detail everything that you need to know. We can finally be safe inside the building. With Fetty X. Again, I really don't know what to tell you. I mean, we can have, you know, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam whiskey advertisements all we want, and, you know, all that kind of thing, but, oh, Fetty X, oh no, those shipping companies will fucking have your ass on a silver platter if you rip off any of the copyright of those names. But anyway, go inside this drawer, you'll find the safe key, and yeah, what's inside there will pretty much confirm all of our suspicions at this stage about what Kaufmann was really doing. If not the bottles of PTV that were in the hospital earlier was to be believed, then yeah, this pretty much tells you everything. Particularly with the owner of this drugstore, Norman Young, who handed over a package to Dahlia Gillespie, and he was connected with, you know, Kaufmann and Dahlia. To what extent is a little bit, well, questionable. But yeah, they have rather powerful influence. I mean, Kaufmann obviously being the director of a hospital, and in Dahlia's case, that's quite curious. Again, I'm gonna hazard a guess here and say that, and again, this is really just to do with later mythos like Silent Hill Downpour with the Gillespie coal mine that was mentioned near the Devil's Pit Stop, that maybe Dahlia's family might have had affluence in terms of, you know, the town's historical value. I suppose in kind of a similar vein to, you know, the town founders of Shepherd's Glen and Homecoming, but yeah, it's quite odd, really. I mean, I guess at this stage that Dahlia was sort of treated more as a hermit as she retreated more into the cult's inner sanctum, but yeah, it's quite strange, really. I don't know, I suppose influence, even if you are not, you know, actively involved in the day-to-day business, probably does still mean quite a lot for the underworld. As is also the case with, well, the drug trade. And again, as you saw with Norman Young here, who was at least an associate of Dahlia and Kaufmann, it does also bring to mind exactly what Kaufmann's role in the cult really was. Was he a devout member, or was he using this as a means of greed and personal gain? Because, I mean, as you see in Silent Hill Origins, you know, he's heavily involved with the cult, he does know about the spiritual powers, and even in this game you do still see him being involved in certain occultic practices. So in that case, wouldn't he know that the military wouldn't show up, as, you know, what he was talking about earlier with the military will show up any time now and save us all? Which seems to imply that he wasn't fully aware about the cult's spiritual powers, but yeah. I mean, Origins and even this game itself does seem to imply that he does know what's happening, you know. As the end of this side quest will also imply, you know, he does have preparations involved in order to put a stop to certain things, so was he lying to Harry, or was he just not aware of the full extent of the powers of, you know, what the cult were capable of? And I suppose since the cat's out of the baggie now, although it's probably kind of obvious given how crazy she was, yes, Dahlia Gillespie, being involved in a cult. Who knew? But that does also tie into her insane ramblings. As I mentioned back when we first met her in the church, you might think that her ramblings first up are just, you know, crazy psychotic babbling for the sake of itself, but no. She is actually quite direct in terms of how she, you know, moves her pieces. She did try the direct approach in Silent Hill Origins, and, yeah, it didn't exactly work very well for Travis, who was very much on the straight and narrow despite his, you know, shortcomings, but Harry, on the other hand, seems a bit easier to manipulate emotionally. And this is the newspaper from the hospital, which pretty much tells you everything that's going on. PTV dealers at large, suspicious deaths of the mayor and police officers, you know, hence why Sybil was called down from another town to investigate. So yeah, not everyone in Silent Hill is under the cult's thumb, so to speak. It's really just specific people. Lisa kind of already elaborated on this beforehand, but it kind of goes into a bit more detail in the sense that, you know, there is a normal functioning resort town, and, you know, all the people that were involved in the cult, you know, hushed up about it, kept, you know, specific places, you know, inside Silent Hill, and, yeah, they only really move the pieces if, you know, they want to forward their plans. And yeah, even though owner of the motel is still, you know, partially involved, or at least knows what's going on, but, yeah, the cult do still have influence. They can really fuck up your life, which is, honest to God, a lot creepier than it fucking sounds, really. I mean, again, even without spiritual powers, they can probably still do some significant damage and not get caught by it, given the fact that, I mean, these fucking people were ballsy enough to kill the mayor and, you know, police officers, so I doubt they, you know, lack the resources in order to fuck with ordinary people, which, you know, it's really saying something that they can make the cult an effective presence in the game without actually having a lot of their membership really show up, which, you know, I mean, I've already said my piece on Silent Hill Homecoming, but take notes. Stuff like this is far more effective than, you know, just having people in gas mask show up going, "Hey, it's Alex Shepard, get that fucker!" You know? But anyway, go to the number 3. 1, 2, a 3, a 3. Oh, and by the way, if you check the shower, you get a Shining, not a Shining, the Psycho reference with nobody inside. But anyway, we have a magnet, we also have a little shelf here. Although how Harry exactly knew to push it is anyone's guess. I guess it might have helped if you maybe had some of the floorboards exposed to give him an idea, but yeah, it's only really through the player's benefit that he can really tell. Anyway, use the magnet, although, yeah, I mean, I guess it could work. I'm not really too sure what metal alloys motorcycle keys are made out of. Although, then again, it might have just been a regular alloy, and I might just be thinking of maybe modern keys for, you know, more modern cars that seem to have very different systems in place about it, but anyway, that's neither here nor there in this case. Yes, there is nothing here, Harry. Actually, you know what I'm thinking? I'm kind of surprised that they never actually took the time to sort of bring this place back for Origins, actually, as, you know, one of the levels in that game. I don't know. I guess maybe they just, you know, wanted to focus more on Travis's own story at that stage, with only a brief interlude of Dr. Michael Kaufmann and Lisa having a bit of a rendezvous. Oh, yes. But whatever, it's not the time to talk about our lovable, you know, narcotics addicts. But anyway, now that we have the motorcycle key, we can access the motorcycle. Oh yes, Harry can finally ride around Silent Hill, looking for Cheryl, shotgun blasting all the monsters in the face, and yeah, I mean, as you can tell, the motorcycle won't really get us far, given the gaping chasms that are all over town, so yeah, anybody who was telling you that the hospital ending is indeed a thing in Silent Hill has been telling you some fucking porkies, because unless that ambulance has fucking hover boosters on it, it ain't going nowheres. And even then, there's no exits out of town anyway, because the tunnels are blocked and, yeah, unless of course you're climbing out the way Harry's car crashed in, well, you're not really going anywhere. Like that fine layer of dust covering everything. Although, yeah, it does actually kind of bring up a weird thing, like, apart from the dust wiped away from the gas cap, as we soon get to see the red liquid, now known as a glophatus, inside the gas tank. Although, does Kaufmann ride a motorcycle, and if so, was he intending to leave town on this thing? It's funny, I don't actually picture Kaufmann being like an easy rider kind of guy. Well, I mean, okay, he's into the drug trade, so, he might be. Who knows, really. Either way, nice bike.
Give me that!
What is this?
That's none of your business. Instead of messing with that, how about coming up with a way to get out of here? You shouldn't be hanging around here goofing off. What do you think you're doing? You want to get yourself killed? Get out of here.
Okay, take it easy.
Unless you want to die, keep your mind on business. Got it?
But really, Harry did not waste his time because now we have pretty much secured the good ending. But not the good plus. I wonder what it is that we missed. But in any case though, yeah, you do need to make sure you at least complete the Kaufmann side quest if you want to get one of the two good endings. Well, yeah, you do need to make sure you do that to at least get the good ending. What determines the good plus or bad plus endings is, of course, all to do with whether or not, you know, you make sure that Sybil Bennett is in good health, and that's all I'll say about that for now. But yeah, as this part comes to a close, you're going to be seeing a little bit more of a, well, escalation in tension. As I mentioned, this will be the last time you breathe in the sights of a rather normal Silent Hill because, well, as you can no doubt tell, even in daytime, darkness is covering the sun! And yeah, if you thought that it was all, no, it's all in Harry's head, you know, he's just dreaming or whatever, as is typical with the, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it was all in a certain character's head, and he was dying in a hospital? Well, no. The other world is real, and it's here to stay. I'm Solidus-Skully, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
What's this? Oh!